Attorney General Eric Holder, made a speech to the Anti-Defamation League where he spoke about anti-Semitism, he spoke about terrorism, but he also made a point of really highlighting the need to not indulge in any type of bigotry, and his commitment to prosecute hate crimes targeted at Muslims, targeted at Sikhs, targeted at people of South Asian and Arab descent in the wake of the Boston bombings and generally. And he really made some really strong statements about against hate crimes and against bigotry. Now, Fox News was incredibly taken with Eric Holder's speech. And as you can imagine, they were incredibly taken with it for all the wrong reasons, because they want to be able to indulge in Islamic bigotry, damn it. And here's Megyn Kelly. First, what she's doing is she's reading Holder's quote. So you'll get a sense of what he was saying, and you'll be nodding your head along and agreeing and appreciating his sentiment. And then the complaints will start. So let's play Megyn Kelly.
Since 9/11, they've investigated more than 800 incidents involving threats, assaults, and acts of vandalism and violence targeting Muslims, Arabs, Sikhs, South Asians, and others who are perceived to be members of these groups. As Americans, we must not allow any group to be stigmatized or alienated. We must not tolerate acts of hatred. And then he goes on to say, let us resolve once more to help our fellow citizens meet fear with reason. This is how we will honor the victims of the Boston Marathon bombings. Let us strive to confront ignorance with information, promote understanding, encourage open dialogue, divert suspicious or prejudiced gazes with outstretched hands. Jay, if you take those remarks and put them on paper and just disconnect them to the Boston Marathon bombings, they're not controversial at all. But to have the Attorney General of the United States get up and focus on backlash against Muslims, has there been backlash against Muslims in the wake of Boston? And is this the time for the Attorney General to be effectively scolding Americans not to be bigoted and not to be ignorant?
Yeah. This is not the time to not be bigoted.
Fox News was so upset. You know, when events like this happen, they get all excited and ready to run out, like Eric Rush, the Fox News contributor, who tweeted out after the Boston bombings that all Muslims should be killed. It's just his freedom of speech, man. And now poor Megyn Kelly, she wants to go out and talk about why Muslims and Arabs are a threat. And now big, mean Attorney General Holder has to come in with his politically correct, don't stereotype and hate everybody, man. Just ruin the fun. Just destroy the fun for Fox. It's a sad day.
Normally, you shouldn't stereotype Muslims, people. But when something happens, that's the time to do it,
Yeah, the time is when there is the most likely time for there to be hate crimes is, of course, exactly the time when you should be stereotyping Muslims. Now, of course, Megyn Kelly, obviously, she also spoke, has there been a backlash against Muslims? Now, of course, the first answer is yes, beginning with the guy who tweeted before the Boston bombing suspects were even discovered and apprehended, and a Fox News employee tweeted out that all Muslims should be killed. Then there was also the Muslim woman who was assaulted 3 days later by a man in Boston who came up to her and screamed, F you, you're a Muslim, you are all terrorists. The FBI has investigated more than 800 hate crimes against Muslims and those perceived to be Muslims since 9/11. A 2010 study by the Southern Poverty Law Center reported that FBI had statistics showing that hate crimes against Muslims, and importantly those perceived to be Muslims, because there's this other religion called the Sikh religion. And I know it's very complicated for viewers of Fox and people like that, because you see a turban and you see a beard and you see a brown guy and you're like, oh my God, this is a Muslim. This is my opportunity to join Sean Hannity and really take my personal stake for freedom and against terrorism. but you don't realize that they're actually members of a religion you've never heard of. So when you're out doing these disgusting things, these bigoted, racist, stupid things that you all should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law for, you're also targeting, in some cases, not even Muslims. Not that that should make any difference anyways, because it doesn't. It just reinforces what complete and utter morons these people are. But let's get back to the stats. In 2010, this is, of course, several years after September 11th, after we've had innumerable examples. Like, unless you completely had your head simply in a Fox News suction chamber, you would have countless examples of Muslims condemning terrorism, Muslims articulating the best values of human rights and world civilizations, and Muslims being the victims of civilian casualties, Guantanamo Bay, and all the rest. Hate crimes jumped up 50% in 2010 against Muslims and those perceived to be Muslims. This is several years, not that it makes any difference in terms of anything happening, but the point is that the propaganda in 2010 is even more intense than the propaganda after September 11th. The Bureau reported in 2010 that there were reported 157 reported anti-Muslim hate crimes. This is in 2009, down slightly from 160 recorded in 2010. The hate crimes occurred during a period when Islam bashing propaganda, which initially took off in 2010, continued apace. And this is all the crap. This is Glenn Beck. This is Obama's a secret Muslim. This is all that garbage. This is, of course, last summer was the mass shooting at the Sikh temple in Wisconsin, which killed many innocent people. Was a terrorist attack by a white.
But nobody will call it a terrorist attack.
No, and what is the precise definition of terrorism is what happened to those people at a Sikh Gurdwara in Wisconsin. And of course, never stopped anybody at Fox from being bigots and morons.
That was just a crazy white guy, Michael. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right. Just
a crazy white guy.
Yeah, if it's just a crazy white guy, it doesn't count for
and
anything more.
if the victims weren't Sikhs, if the victims were also white people, then you'd hear the talk about more people calling it a mass shooting.
That's right.
But it's just a crazy white guy.
And because it was Sikhs, it wasn't even really covered as a mass shooting. It actually went out of the news pretty quickly.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
No, you're exactly right. In the same period, vandals left a slain pig in front of a mosque in Houston, Texas. That's, of course, in and of itself horrifying and disturbing. But obviously, Muslims, like Jews, don't eat pork, so that was obviously the impetus behind the attack. So, look, I think again,
I thought you were trying to say that there was some sort of hate crime against swine.
It was a hate crime against swine. I think pigs are very cute. That's why I don't eat pig. But look, I think just again, it's so easy to, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Every day when we come into work, there is so many, just an embarrassment of riches of stupid clips from Fox to pick. But sometimes they're so egregious because they are literally the handmaidens, ideologically, of deranged and screwed up people, which is obviously not even most people who are bigoted towards Muslims or going out and doing these things. But this is obviously creating the context. And when Eric Holder comes out and makes a responsible effort to try to kind of speak out against this, remind Americans that it's intolerable, Fox is there first in line with a disgusting, whiny, self-indulgent, inaccurate, and bigoted response. And it's disgusting, and it's pathetic, and you would expect nothing more. So anyways, that's my... It's just like, do one Google search. Look at one friggin' story. It's unbelievable. Like, do you really want to be... I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but it's like, that really the business you want to be in?
Yeah.
Right. What am I talking about?